So my choice of subject today is ride sharing on two-wheelers. It's something which is out of the box. Nobody's tried this here in our country, but that's the way it is. You got to think out of the box to solve problems that exist in our place. Have you ever gone in an aircraft alone? Don't you find aircrafts with a number of passengers sitting in one common area? Don't we find trains doing the same thing? Aren't we having ships that do it? Don't we have buses that are doing the same thing? So these are all types of ride sharing. It's just that we never focused on the concept until it reached a level where we ourselves are affected by it. Most of us own cars and most of us own bikes. So it's really hitting us now that we need to do something at our individual levels to do sharing of our bikes and cars and share our rides. Now, why do we need to share our rides? So there's one question that comes up. What is the difference between a ride share and a taxi? Most of you could say that what I'm talking about is pretty similar. But we all need to realize that once you run a taxi, like this gentleman wants to own here, you have. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So you're running them with Ola. Great, great. So, like he is running those taxis, it's a commercial business proposition for him. He wants to make money out of it. And it is a great proposition for the driver because he's earning a lot of money. His living standard has gone up. Whereas a ride share is something that you do as a social service. But nobody does social service on a daily basis without getting something for himself. So, would you give a lift to somebody on a daily basis if you don't get paid for it? Would you do that? Or for that matter, let's reverse the role. Would you take a lift from somebody if you are not going to pay him every day? Are you going to do that? Well, no. Well, no one would do that. So there has to be some exchange of money from an X to a Y to make this possible. So this is what modern ride sharing is all about. Modern ride sharing is giving somebody a ride, but trying to cover a part of your cost that you incur to take that ride by taking a part of the cost from the person you're giving the lift to. In India, we call it taking and giving lift. In simple terms, we've always been understanding the concept of giving and taking lifts. But internationally, the concept is ride sharing. You look at this number? Well, 70%. You will be amazed to know that 70% of all motorized vehicles sold in India are two-wheelers. How many of you did you know about this? Did any one of you know that out of every 10 vehicles sold in India, 7 are two-wheelers? We're a country of average incomes. Affording a car is everybody's dream. We in cities tend to take it for granted because we have better earning potentials, we have more opportunities to make money. So in our city, we tend to take car ownership for granted. But India is huge and most of it lives in tier 2 cities and rural areas. So if you take the stat of all motorized vehicles sold in the country, 70% of them are two-wheelers. This is a graph which will show you that there is a growing trend towards more and more ownership of two-wheelers. Why am I giving you these stats? Well, I'm giving you these stats to make you understand that two-wheelers is the most preferred mode of transport amongst the young population. All of us know that India's demographics tell us that we are the youngest country in the world. Do you agree with me if I say that two-wheelers are associated with young people? Yes?
Yes.
So most of us get into a state when we fight with our parents to own our own bikes. I've done with my mother. When I was in college, she would never let me take a bike. We would consider it dangerous to ride a bike, right? But I fought my way through, and for 5 long years, I was on the bike and I enjoyed that time in my life. So, what are the advantages of bikes as a mode of transport? Well, it gives you great value. Most of our countrymen are just getting into that stage where they can afford things in life, and mobility is a huge thing. The first thing that you do is to try and gain mobility by buying a bike. Well, not so today. The first thing is you buy a smartphone, and then probably you go to the bike. I'll correct myself. But bike still is quite high on the agenda. It saves valuable commute time. How many of you will agree with me that probably a distance you do by car, you will cover with a bike in half the time? Well, there you go. If some of you are driving, you will realize that the city traffic is so bad that if I would want to go from here to Worli, it would take me 30 minutes. But on a bike, I would do it in 15 minutes. Not by going fast, but by just squeezing through the traffic. By just going on the left side of the traffic and be the first at the signal when the signal starts. You can't do that with a car. Okay, what does it do? A lot of us go by cabs. A lot of us go driving our own cars to work, to get back home. How many of us do it just with us in the car alone? A lot of us just use 4 wheels on the ground, on the road, just for ourselves. Now imagine a bike probably will do for you. Am I right? It will do for you if you're all alone. In fact, even with one more person around with you. So it helps reduce traffic congestion. People who can afford to go with bikes, people who are young and who want to reach quick can take bikes and reduce the congestion. It enables flowing traffic. Cars generally clog because you can't take a car when there's no space between two things. It's got lower acquisition cost, it doesn't take a lot to maintain the car, and it gives you great mileage. And most of all, most of us car owners are struggling to park our cars. I mean, I came to park my car here, fortunately they let me park. I'm sure if you guys bring your cars on a daily basis, you won't get to park outside your college. So parking is a huge issue. So, I'm getting you to a stage where I want you to understand that two-wheelers can also go on a ride-sharing concept. A lot of us are single individuals when we do our commute in the city from one point to the other. Most of us would take a cab, our own car, or maybe an auto in the suburbs to get to where we are going. But aren't we utilizing more space on the ground than we actually need to? So what's the solution to this? The solution to this is we could very well go into a ride-sharing concept on a motorcycle or on a scooter. Do you agree? As young citizens, most of you should agree. Because you would save a lot of time and you would save a lot of cost too. Has this been done before? Is a question that all of you should ask. It's not done in India, but has it been done before somewhere else? Is a question that you should ask. So, any one of you has been to Bangkok? Anyone? Oh, I see a few of you. These are naughty guys. These are the naughty ones. Anyway, have you seen bikes there?
Yeah.
Have you seen scooter bikes with taxi formats there? You haven't seen? Well, then you haven't been to Bangkok. You can go back again. Anyway, so Bangkok, a city as big as Mumbai, has more than 100,000 bikers helping people commute within the city from point A to point B. Another example, Indonesia, the city of Jakarta. The city of Jakarta has a very poor transportation system. And they have more than 200,000 bikers doing the same job, ferrying people from one place to the other in the city. Have you ever seen this anywhere else? Well, yes, there are cities, similar cities with similar economies in Africa, in South America, where systems of people using bikes to take them from one place to the other is prospering and it's doing great for the city dwellers. Do you think something like this can be introduced to Mumbai and would it help you? I want to hear that from you. Yes. Lovely. That's what I was waiting to hear from you guys. Well, I will agree that there's no parallel to a strong public transport system. Public transport should be the best way to travel. I'm not going to say bike rides or sharing rides on a bike is the best way. Public transport is the best way to do it. But how much can the government do? It's trying its best. Does it ever keep pace with our growing demands? It can never do that. They build a road and there are more number of cars that come on the road. They build a bridge and the next day you find that the bridge is again very full of traffic. However hard they try, they can't keep up in pace with what we are doing with the economy. We are growing at a very high rate. It's one of the highest rates in the world. And with that growth comes prosperity. Prosperity is aspirations. Aspirations is buying your own assets and indulge in these kind of luxuries. So for somebody who's been riding a bus all his life, if he makes money, he wants to buy a bike. If he makes more money, he wants to buy a car. So that's aspirational and we will end up doing more of that. So the government can support us to some extent, but we have to do our own bit. We have to do our own bit by contributing to the ride shares and helping other people commute and having less congestion and reduce the traffic. So all these problems help us to understand that there is a need to have a system like this in our cities in India. Now, how can we do that? So I've sent you there's some more examples of where you can use the bike ride. For students, you can commute to school, to your colleges, or go back to your homes after you've done your college work. For going to the office and back home from the offices. Tourists come to the city. There are so many places to go in the city. The poor guy will never be able to finish everything if he's going in a car. If he's alone and he wants to look at different spots in the city, probably bikes will help him do twice what he can do in a car. Small parcel delivery movements, why would you need, if you have an envelope or a small gift article to be sent somewhere in the city, why would you want to take a car? You can just call over a biker and hand it over to him and have him deliver. Medical ambulances, now this is a term which I need to explain. Somebody who's sick can't be taken to a hospital in a bike. It's the other way around. In emergencies, if you see many times there are ambulances which are trying to, honk their way through traffic and get to where the sick guy is. Well, a first aid doctor can help a patient who requires attention at home. So you can have doctors on bikes who can go and attend to the patient in emergencies at the place he lives. Rather than carry the passenger to the hospital, it works reverse. So that's medical ambulances and first aid things that can be helped on bikes. Last mile connections. Last mile connections are connections that you need to make from a place where you can get down from your transport. So it could be from a metro station, it could be from a local station, it could be from anywhere. So somebody getting down at a Churchgate station wanting to go to Cuff Parade, you could take a bike, get down at Churchgate station, take a bike and go to Cuff Parade. So these are the use cases that you have where bikes can be useful. This is a new thing. I bet A lot of you, if you haven't heard about what we've been doing in Mumbai for the last 3 months, has anyone ever thought that bikes could become taxis? Has anyone done that kind of thinking? Do you think it's possible?
Yes.
I can't hear you. Have I convinced you that we need it? Lovely, that's what I want to hear. Regulation is needed to allow this to happen. We don't have regulations to allow bikers to pick up people and drop them where they want to. So the government needs to support us. It needs to regulate, but it does not need to regulate pricing. It needs to regulate what safety factors we need to put in that ride. It needs to regulate what kind of service standards need to be maintained. So, if we have a 15 million strong population in the city, a number of bikes are needed to help the city move much quicker. How many of you spend more than an hour commuting from your house to your college? Can I ask? 40 minutes? Can I see more hands? What would you give if that amount of time is reduced to 20 minutes? Would you not like that? What would you do with that time? Spend with your girlfriend?
You can.
Well, surely you can stick in college for a longer time, spend more time with your friends, give more time to your girlfriend. Well, that's what you can achieve by being on a bike. We know that our country has a lot of unpopulated, unemployed people. Right? Once you get out of college, you want to be employed. Most of you are already thinking what you're going to do after you're going to graduate. Most of you want to make a living after whatever skills you've taken from your college. Well, there are a lot of people in our country who don't even get to go to college. So you are the most privileged ones because you get to come to college, learn your skill, and use it in offices. This option offers a great potential for people who could not afford to come to college, because riding a bike is no great skill. You can teach somebody to ride a bike in a very small time. Our calculations suggest that if a guy is allowed to operate as a bike rider and help commuters within the city, he can make more than 20,000 rupees a month. Now, how many of us at the college level will make 20,000 rupees a month after we graduate from here? It will probably take 2 years, 3 years worth of experience and get to a